Yeah, we know you're Rainn Wilson. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got, okay.
You guys are fangirling a little too much here.
A little, sorry,
We
Gary.
need to bring it down.
Hey Human. Watch Hey Human with me, Rainn Wilson.
Okay, we're starting again for the third time. And, hello. I hope that this is now working. I have 1 follower. I have 8 followers. I'm sorry for the late start. I have 29 people looking at me, 45 people. Wow, we're getting an audience in the dozens. In the dozens. Okay, I started at 12. I was down where the pigs are in the pig pen, in the corral area, and it was so cute. It was adorable. I was feeding them animal crackers from Kirkland brand, and it was adorable. Snortington and Amy were down there basking in the sun. I thought this was really exciting, but none of it was streaming because the signal was so bad, and so it was all fucked up. So, anyway, hello, and welcome to Hey Human, everybody. And we're off to a rocky start, so we're going to shift things around here pretty quick. This is a show where we bring people together at Soul Pancake. We try and make the world a better place with meaningful, deep, inspiring, uplifting conversation. I am on Hey Human. We're going to interview some random human beings from the interwebs out there. So I hope that you will request to join, request to share screen, and I will bring on a random viewer, and we will have a lovely, scintillating conversation. And I'm wearing this hat because my hair looks like this. And this is what my hair looks like pretty much every day during the quarantine. Because who gives a fuck? I've ceased combing it. I rarely bathe. I rarely groom. So this video series, as you've noticed, we've been doing it every day at noon, just has me wearing random hats. So, yes, Lola Relacon says, put it back on. Yeah, I did. I put it back on, you see. But you know, celebrities, they're just like us. They've got hat head. This has been really fun, doing this show. It's been really illuminating. We had some great guests on the show. We had Dodger. We had Noah Cyrus. We're going to have some other friends joining us. And mostly, I'm really excited to see and interview and talk to some of you later on. So, one issue here is... I don't like the way that light is. I can't stay there all day. One issue is, how can we talk about surviving this quarantine and finding increased and better mental health? How can we be of service to others when there's so many hurting? I was just reading a story today about the number of people that are losing their jobs, being laid off, the number of unemployment claims. The economic repercussions of this are going to be catastrophous. Is that a word? It's going to be really daunting. And, you know, you guys hear from a lot of, like, I'm trying to be really sensitive as I was on a TV show for a long time, so I made a little bit of money. I'm not trying to brag. It's just a fact. I spent most of my life in pretty much poverty. And no, I'm not exaggerating. I mean, like, poverty. Like, for the first 10 years of my career, I never made over 20 grand in a year as an actor. And had to subsidize myself by being driving a moving van, and I did catering, and I was a waiter. And I would have been laid off at a different point in my career. This would have been absolutely devastating to me. So I imagine sometimes it's hard listening to celebrities talk about, you know, changing your attitude and being more uplifting and, survival techniques when a lot of people are really afraid for how am I going to pay rent in June? How am I going to pay rent in July? How am I going to get a new apartment? How am I going to have enough to start school in the fall? So just really my heart goes out to all you all with the economic uncertainty that's out there. And I'm going to have a special guest today to talk about this, a good friend of mine. And I'm just wondering, too, I want to hear from all of you about what tips you've found and ways you've found to cope with this. So I'm not being very articulate today on Hey Human, but let me see who's out there who I can share the screen with. Hold on a second. All right. So someone says, we are walking through a door. We got to be different. We got to help each other. And someone else is pointing out the fact that celebrities are like, hey, stay home. Make sure you stay home. And they're in these big, giant houses, with swimming pools and home gyms and stuff like that. And, celebrities can afford to have their personal trainers, FaceTime in and stuff like that. So, but we all have our cross to bear. We all have our row to hoe, and we're all trying to make the world a better place and help each other. So that's what it's about. Let me see who I've got here. Here we go. I'm going to speak with a very... Perhaps you know him. Perhaps you don't. Oh, look at him. This is Justin Baldoni, everybody. And
hey, dude.
Listen, I had the decency to put on a hat. What's going on there? Okay, now it looks a little bit better. It looks a little bit better now.
You don't like this?
Oh, yes. Nice.
Just like the one piece right in front of my eye there, so I can't really see, but it's like,
I love it. I love it. Hey, Justin.
How's it going, man? I love that you're doing this.
Yeah, every day at noon, I'm interviewing different random people, viewers from around the nation. We're talking about the quarantine, the plague, the epidemic, the mental health issues, the mental health strategies for surviving these very difficult times. And I really wanted to have you on the show because I know that you're doing the same thing on your own Instagram and Facebook and whatnot and social media. So Justin Baldoni, for those 7 people who don't know, he played Jane the Virgin for many years, and then he directed a movie called 3 Feet Apart that had a cast of Supergirl on it. Is that right? Am I close?
Yeah.
Close?
Yeah. 3 feet. That would have been an interesting title for the movie. 3 feet apart.
It's 5 feet apart, right?
5 feet apart, man.
Is the porn version of that 5 inches apart? Sorry to go there. That was terrible because it's about people with spina bifida and stuff like that, right? So it's not something to make fun of.
Rainn, you're getting funnier. I gotta say, you're getting funnier as you get a little bit older. It's good. This is good for you.
What do you mean I'm getting a little bit older? What are you talking about?
Sorry, my dad just tried to
Justin. Oh. Say hi to your dad. Justin, tell me something. What you've been interviewing experts on the virus and how to survive, stuff like this on your channels. Tell us about that. And then if you can, in a nutshell, tell us what you've gleaned, what you've learned from those interviews.
Honestly, I like to think of myself as an explorer, and I am curious. And it's one of the reasons why I've always been a fan and a supporter and a partner with Soul Pancake, because, it's all about asking life's big questions. And I think when something like this happens, those of us with platforms, I think, have a responsibility to be of service and I think to help. So for me, it was more also a little bit selfish because I want to know personally some tips and tricks to ease anxiety and some of our own suffering happening. I also understand the sense of privilege that we have living even in a house right now. And so I've been very curious, I guess is the way to put it. And so, so I started off talking to my personal therapist.
Oh, wow. What was that like?
It was wonderful. His name is Brad Reedy. You can follow him at Evoke. He's actually doing daily live streams to help with collective stress and anxiety. Yesterday, I talked to I think our mutual friend, but my good buddy Jay Shetty, about meditation. I know you are a meditator. Spoke to my friend Jack Saul, who's a trauma and grief therapist, and I think for me, it's just been more about, well, is there a silver lining to this? How do we not diminish the collective suffering and panic and anxiety and pain that's happening globally, right? Because I think there's two sides to this. We have to, on one hand, be positive and find a way to inject positivity and inspiration into our lives while not diminishing that people are dying and getting very sick. And that's, I think, a gray area, though. I was listening to you talk about these celebrities and some of the tone deafness to a certain extent. And I think that's a gray area that a lot of celebrities are facing right now is, quarantine is not so bad when you have a palace, right?
Yeah. And when you've got money in the bank.
And you got money in the bank and you don't have a service-based industry and you don't have to go out and you're not on the front lines working to save people.
But you and I both, I mean, you as soon as like 7 or 8 years ago and me, 20 years ago, we knew what it was like to have to go month to month and how devastating this would have been to us.
Oh my God. And I think about that all the time, which is important in these conversations because our collective audiences are generally, they're not made up of privileged people that have mansions. They are, and I'm very grateful that that's my audience and that those are my friends in my community because I'm getting direct feedback from people on the ground that are the most affected. And it doesn't take long. I mean, we all have people in our, it's not like all of my friends, most of my friends are not successful or well-known. And I'm getting direct feedback from dear friends that are like, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent. I don't know, multiple friends are in the restaurant sector. Half of the entertainment business, works in restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
There's no restaurants that are open right now.
Right.
So people are collectively suffering, and it's important that we don't diminish that. However, what I've learned, at least in the last couple of weeks, is that we have to also find a way to bring in the light, right? You and I are both Baha'is. Baha'u'llah says that calamity is my providence. Outwardly it is fire and vengeance, yet inwardly it is light and mercy, right? And there is calamity befalling all of us all around the world. And I think we have to look for the light and the mercy. It's like the Rumi quote, right? The womb is where the light enters you. Mm-hmm. Or Leonard Cohen, right? There's a crack in everything. That's where the light gets in. These are things that have been reinforced into our minds and our subconscious psyches for years. And we're now having a chance to say, well, how does that work? Like practically, like we all have a chance to say, well, how do we find the light in the darkness? And it happens because of people like you that are doing this, because of the hope that we're seeing all around the world from a global community of everyday people stepping up and saying, like, how can I help? Mm-hmm. You start to see, and I'll give you the Baha'i version of it, as you know, when Baha'u'llah says that so powerful is the light of unity, that it can illumine the whole earth. You start to see, well, maybe the hope lies in...
You're really good with the Baha'i quotes, by the way.
Well, I've had a lot of practice.
It makes you look really smart.
Well, I can't quote many other things, but I can. But the truth is that, like, that's the hope. It comes from each other. Like, that hope comes from humanity and from people and from looking out my window and seeing people, walk their dogs and wave and connect with each other, and from my neighbors and from us going and knocking on doors to the elderly and saying, well, how can we help you? And we're seeing that people that have skills and businesses are using their businesses and pivoting to help fill a gap for other businesses that are hurting. And I just got off the phone with a mutual friend of ours that's trying to figure out how to create small business loans for people before the government can. And there's all kinds of amazing things happening. And that's what brings me hope. That's, for me, how I'm finding the light in the darkness.
So you're focusing on the good things that are happening both now and that can be happening over the upcoming months?
I'm focusing on the good while not diminishing the very real and the bad. And that's, I think, the important thing, right?
Yeah.
How about, can I throw another Baha'i quote at you, Mr.
Wow. That'll be like 4 or 5 in
moderation.
Go ahead.
Moderation, right, is key. Anything taken to an extreme can be proven a source of evil. So this idea that, like, if we go too far into the optimistic hippie land that everything is okay, that's also not good for us. Because then we'll be one of the people that go outside thinking we're invincible and like, oh, God will protect us. And that's not the case. And we can't go to the other side where it's all negative and anxiety, because we'll be stuck on our couches and we won't be able to move because fear will take over. So I think that the key lies in finding the middle ground. And that's been helpful for me by saying, okay, what's science say? Well, science says very clearly that the more people that stay at home, the better chance we have of not spreading the virus, not having those who are immunosuppressed, and friends of ours from my last days and elderly people and those with underlying conditions have a potential increase in their mortality. And it also says that the economy will come back to normal faster, and that jobs will be created and things will go back to normal if we flatten the curve faster. So for me, I look at that and I say, great, science says this. Let me be clear, this kind of sucks. It's going to suck for a lot of people, but the worst case scenario, if we don't do it, is far worse. More people die and more jobs are lost. Great. That's one half of it. The other half of it for me is, wow, I can see the stars for the first time at night in Los Angeles. I live right in the middle of the city, and we went outside the other night, and I've never seen the stars from my backyard. And for the first time, I saw the stars. Whales and dolphins are showing up off the coast of Venice Beach, which rarely ever happens. Fish are showing up in the Venice Canal.
Just because of diminished human activity and stuff?
It seems as if the more people are staying at home and not polluting the environment, the more nature's coming out to say, hey, we're here. We've been here the whole time. And
hey, what's up? I'm nature.
And
hello
like,
to me.
The air is cleaner.
Yeah.
And we're finding the other side of it, which is people are finding a way to connect even more. You and I, like, there's more Zoom conversations and FaceTime conversations than I've ever had in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
We're celebrating birthdays over FaceTime. We're becoming more and more connected by being given positive constraints. And so I think about it the way that I think about raising my children, which is all these rules that I give my kids are not because I'm an asshole parent. It's because I want what's best for them. So some of these constraints that are coming out of this terrible situation, I believe, are leading to positive things that could hopefully lead to a better world post-coronavirus. So if you balance those two things out, that's kind of what I've learned. And the final thing I've learned is, dude, we just got to take a damn breath every once in a while. Turn off the freaking news. The world is not going to end tomorrow, and we have to breathe together. And you got to take a breath, and we got to calm our anxiety, say a prayer. If you don't believe in God, then like just practice breathing for 5 minutes. Because anxiety is a real thing. And I believe
if you don't believe in God, you can believe in nature, and you can have an experience in nature.
Believe in Mother Earth, or at the very least, like, understand that anxiety, just like this virus, can spread, but it spreads even faster. And that's the other thing that I've seen firsthand is look how fast anxiety is spreading. It's spreading a lot faster than COVID-19. So we have to be
it's the real pandemic, isn't it?
It seems like it is. Both human beings and anxiety. We are the virus of Mother Earth, and the anxiety is the virus afflicting everybody right now.
The problem with the news is, because I saw someone say, don't turn off the news, you got to stay informed. It's like, well, here's the problem. And a lot of times people blame, like, the media. I don't think the media is the problem. Like, I don't blame the internet for bad things that happen on the internet. It's a tool. But the problem with the way the news is structured right now is that fear leads to clicks. Fear leads to you coming back. So the more that they can hit you with little no one wants to hear the good news. They'll do an occasional touching story here or there. But as soon as they say, like, Are we in danger? We could blah 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 blah.
It's gonna get worse. Oh yeah, yeah.
It keeps you. We're wired for fear as human beings, and the clicks on the internet come from fear and outrage. That gets more clicks. And
have you ever been on the freeway? And I know you have because you live in LA. And there's nonstop traffic, and you're on the freeway for 25 minutes, and you're just not moving, and you finally get to a place where there's an accident on the other side of the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
The reason the traffic exists is because we all stopped to watch the accident.
Right.
And we were curious, and we looked over and we say, what's happened? Is everyone okay? And then
rubberneck.
Everybody stops. When in reality, like, we could have just kept going and, said a prayer for whatever happened over there. Sometimes it's just like someone gets pulled over and then everybody stops. And then that buildup creates the exact same thing. And also we have to remember that the news stations have to fill 24 hours a day of news coverage. Mm-hmm. Because there's advertisers that are paying for the news coverage. Mm-hmm. And if nobody's watching the news, then nobody's paying the bills, then the station goes away. It's a version of entertainment. And we have to just be mindful of our collective mental health when we watch the news, to not also get addicted in the same way that we can get addicted to social media or to things that take us away from experiencing our full selves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well said, Justin. Thank you so much. And people can find you at Justin Baldoni.
Yeah, or they can just, follow you, and
no,
I'll pop up every once in a while on your page.
I'm trying to give you a plug. And you're editing and almost finished with your new movie called Clouds. Do you have any idea when a release date's going to be on that?
No, I don't, because the entertainment industry is facing unprecedented challenges at the moment. We had our first 0 box office weekend, I think, in the history of the entertainment business.
Wow. Back
before Great Depression, because we've never been faced with a situation where movie theaters cannot have people in them. Right. So the industry is changing, and we're figuring it out. But yeah, finishing the movie, which, as you know, was a documentary that I made on Soul Pancake all those years ago, inspired by the young Zach Sobiak, and which I would say, honestly, if we want to talk about a plug for both of us, a great thing to watch right now to kind of level ourselves and to kind of tap in would be actually the My Last Days series.
My Last Days.
Which you can watch on Soul Pancake and see.
Soul Pancake, and especially the Zach Sobiak episode.
Just seeing how people cope with extreme situations and take care of their mental health, and gaining inspiration from people and wisdom that don't have much time left to live, I think kind of resets me, especially in times like this when there's so much fear and anxiety.
Yeah. No, well said. Hey, brother, thank you so much for
Love
coming
you, man.
on. Hey,
bye, everybody.
Human. And I want to say, hey, Human, thank you for coming by.
Thanks, Human.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Oh, what a nice fellow. What a nice chap. Justin is so talented and articulate and really has a pure heart, really trying to do what's best for the world and give back. Super nice guy, great hair. And now it's time. Now, all of you, request to join me, please. Request to join. Request to share the old screen. We've got 600 of you watching. Just a few days ago, it was like 200. So we're spreading the word. Tell your friends about Hey Human every day at noon during the quarantine. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Hopefully it provides a little upliftment and brings people together. So ask to share the screen. There's 61 people have requested to be in my live video. I'm going to choose a random human being from somewhere in the world. Here we go. Boom. Who's it going to be? I'm twirling and twisting the screen up and down. I'm swirling. My finger is gliding up and down. That's what she said. And what do we have here? We've got Layla Bryan from the UK. Layla Bryan. Hopefully she consents to be on the show. Come on, Layla. What do you say? Waiting for Layla Bryan. Maybe she's taking a poop right now and she can't answer the phone. So this is not happening. Sorry, Layla. Get a life, weirdo. Okay, let me try this again. It's already down to 10 people. I need more people on here. Here we go. Request to share the screen. Scrolling up and down. Who do we got here? I'm just trying to be random. I'm not trying to like read a bunch of stuff. What about Gary Samuels? Can this happen? Can we make this happen? Connecting. Hey, Gary, how you doing?
Good, Rainn. How are you doing? And my
Hey,
wife's
I'm
here too.
doing well.
Kristen.
Hi. Is this
Hi,
real
who's
world?
this, Gary?
I'm Kristen.
Hi, Kristen. How you doing?
Stop.
I'm Rainn Wilson. How you doing?
Yeah, we know you're Rainn Wilson. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. You guys are fangirling a little too much here.
a little. Sorry,
We
Gary.
need to
I'm
bring
taking
it
a
down. No, Kristen, you're welcome to join us. We'd love to have you on the show.
Our
Yeah.
daughter is about to freak out. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm
How old
stealing
is she?
Gary's. She's 7.
Oh.
I'll go get her. But this is Gary's moment. I'm gonna try to like not fangirl right now.
This is Gary's moment?
Gary's
Gary,
a huge fan.
Where are you
He
and Kristen?
has.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kristen. Okay, Kristen needs her own show. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Good.
What's your name?
Charlotte.
Charlotte? Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I'm Rainn Wilson, and this is Soul Pancake, and this is our little live show called Hey Human, and you're on the air with about 500 people, but a lot more people will be seeing it after when we post it. So nice to meet you. How's it going?
Good.
Are you enjoying the quarantine at all, or is it kind of a big bummer for you?
It's a big bummer.
Big bummer? I'm sorry to hear that. And did you miss your friends, like playing with friends and high-fiving them and being on the playground and running around and throwing frisbees and stuff? Where do you live?
6498 South.
Oh, not that.
Whoa.
Gilbert, Arizona.
We live in Gilbert, Arizona.
Gilbert,
currently.
Arizona. That's fantastic.
We used to live near Scranton, Pennsylvania, though, 3 years ago.
Oh, how about that? Okay, good.
Yeah.
One of the things that is part of my world is that when anyone has any kind of connection to Scranton, they let me know. So I'll just be walking down the street and be like, someone will be like, hey, my second cousin's roommate from college used to live in Scranton. I'll be like, that's great. That's cool. Yeah, a lot of people live there and have been through. I'm not accusing you of that, Gary, but it's just, it comes with the territory when you're on a show like The Office.
Absolutely.
Hey, Charlotte, are you still there? Hi, how's it going?
Good.
So what do you miss most about being under quarantine?
I don't know.
Your friends?
My friends.
Yeah.
Your friends? Yeah. What do you like to do with your friends? Do you have hobbies, what you like to do with your friends?
I like to run around with them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
play jump with them.
Jump rope? That's great. I love to run around with my friends, too. So sometimes I'll get together with the cast of The Office, and we'll just run around outside, just at a park, just run around. So much fun. It's Are you doing some online schooling right now, Charlotte?
Yes.
Yeah. And what are you studying? What do you like to study in school? Anything?
I like to study math and online school. And like when I'm doing online school, I learn Korean.
Wait, what? Korean? Do you know how to speak some Korean?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Can you speak some Korean to me? Just any words. What words do you know?
I kind of forgot, but I did write it down on a paper that I can go get.
Oh, good. Yeah, go ahead and go get the Korean, and let me talk to your dad. Great. That's wonderful. So what do you do with yourself? How are you surviving? Are you still working, or are you sitting tight for right now?
We're still working remotely. I work for a university here, so we are working remotely currently.
Okay. And what do you do for the university?
I work in the student conduct office, so all the students that violate the student code of conduct, we do investigations and look into it.
Oh, wow. And what school is it?
Arizona State University.
Oh, okay. Like, what's a student conduct thing? What does that involve? Like,
So anything,
someone threw an
ranging
egg
from
at someone or something, or what?
that could happen,
Claims or what?
certainly. Anything ranging from alcohol, drug offenses, sexual assault,
Yeah.
all those different categories we take.
You're a pretty serious badass then.
I wouldn't say badass, but certainly I have a lot of good stories that I could probably write a book about someday.
I hope you do that. Are you over there by the Sun Devil Stadium?
No, we live, Gilbert's probably about 25 miles away from Sun Devil Stadium, but my office is near there.
Okay. All right. Excellent. And hi, Charlotte.
Hello.
Did you find some Korean words for me? Oh wow. Okay, that looks like someone put a chicken in ink and let them run around on a piece of paper. I don't know what that means, Charlotte.
Well, this means dog.
Dog? And how do you pronounce that in Korean?
I don't even know.
Well, keep working. Keep working. I love that you're learning Korean. That's great. And Gary and Kristen and Charlotte, do you have any tips for the people watching Hey Human about how to survive the quarantine? Do you have any other kids?
No, this is it for
That's
us.
it? Family of 3. Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful. And
Keep it small.
what do you have any tips for the viewers about how to survive the anxiety and depression and issues and isolation that can happen during the quarantine?
We are trying our best to just enjoy time with each other, right? I think life is too fast and we took things too seriously
Yeah.
that don't really matter right now.
Yeah.
So we're trying to just be present with one another and calm and enjoy not having to be with other people. Like, we
I-
Enjoy not having to be with other people. Okay.
Yeah,
I
we're
usually am alone.
introverts. We are introverts. Charlotte is very extroverted. She
Yeah.
loves people. She's handling this a lot better than we are.
Yeah.
But we like being just with each other.
Great.
And just enjoying our family and figuring out what our interests are. Like Korean, we didn't know she wanted to learn Korean until
That's
this
great.
week.
And
So,
Navajo.
yeah, and I'm learning Navajo as well. So,
Navajo too. That's wow. Could you imagine if you and what?
Atahe.
oh,
That's Navajo.
What does that mean in Navajo?
It can mean hello or good morning.
Oh,
There you
wow. Good. So it's
Learn
like
something.
aloha, kind of. Yeah. Well, you know what, Charlotte? Your English is excellent.
fantastic.
There's almost no accent. I can barely hear an accent at all.
It's Dad. He's got a real thick northeastern accent,
Yeah.
and it's pretty strange. But yeah, so she's awesome. So yeah, that's our advice: is just kind of slow down and enjoy life with one another. And
That's great.
we're all trying to make it out alive, right?
Yeah. Well, we just think about how amazing it will be when we're all able to gather again after all this, and how we won't take it for granted, when we have a church meeting or a school group meeting or a play date or a Dungeons and Dragons game or a 12-step meeting or a business conference or a sport event or whatever it is, the ways that people gather, how much we're going to really cherish that. And we're trying to have these online gatherings and online connections. And it just shows us how much as human beings need to stay connected.
Right.
Just bottom line, human beings need connection.
For sure. Yeah, and physical distance, not necessarily social distance.
Okay.
Right? Like
Yeah.
we still need to connect socially with one another and
Yes.
through technology, but it's physical distance that we need, and not necessarily, missing connections with people in
Yeah.
other ways. So
Yeah. Well, what a beautiful family. It's so nice to see you guys.
you also, this is crazy. Gary's obsessed with The Office. I'm not even exaggerating that we watch it every single day, every day, on
Okay.
repeat, all the time. So
What
it's
about-
really trippy that
What
we're
about
on.
Charlotte? Charlotte, you ever seen an episode of The Office?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Think it's pretty funny?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your favorite episode? Do you remember? Like what scene? Mine's when they dump the chili on the floor. It's just unbelievable to me. And we roll every time we see the chili on the floor.
That's so great. I'm really happy that The Office has brought a lot of uplifting connection to people, and it's the most streamed show. I mean, the billions and billions of views of the show. It's brought a lot of kind of calm and soothing to people, and laughter over the years, and that's really nice to see, and that the kids can enjoy it as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You guys seem like you have a great family there, and it's been such a pleasure talking to you.
You as well. This is crazy.
Yeah. So thanks for joining in on Hey Human. Please tell your friends to watch. There'll be another show tomorrow at 12. Charlotte, you are such an awesome kid. Keep it up with the Korean and the math and the Navajo, and you're beautiful. You guys are such a beautiful family. It's such a pleasure getting to know you.
You as well.
You too,
If I come through Gilroy, can I crash with you guys?
Yeah. We have more than enough room.
Oh.
And we'll keep 6 feet of distance between us. So please come.
Excellent. Okay, great. So long, guys.
Bye.
Bye, Rainn.
Bye. What an amazing family. The Samuels, Gary Samuels, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful little girl, Charlotte. And she misses her friends, and she misses running around. And I don't blame her. It's got to be hard for little kids. My heart goes out to the little kids. Thank you so much for watching Hey Human with me, your host, Rainn Wilson. I was a little discombobulated today. I got really thrown off by the fact that I couldn't live stream my pigs at the top of the show. There wasn't enough signal down there to live stream my pigs. So we got to figure out something around that. But it was so great having the great Justin Baldoni on, and Gary Samuels and Charlotte and Kristen. You guys stay connected, stay safe. Let's help each other out, reach out, help other people, find someone that might be feeling a little more sad and a little more anxious than you, and lend a helping hand and connect with them. Okay, that's your mission. Tomorrow, tell me how you did with that. Please tell your friends tomorrow at noon, every weekday at noon, here on Soul Pancake Instagram Live. Goodbye. I love you all, except you, Andrea Canchola. Goodbye.